I want to first thank the AOCC organizers, everybody who put this event together. But I also want to thank RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan because he helped me get out here. It's a big deal. So I'm happy to be here. We fuse music, chess, and martial arts to promote unity, strategy, and nonviolence. Just saying hip-hop, chess, and martial arts already confuses most people. And I think that's because most people don't understand hip-hop, chess, or martial arts, where the hip-hop stuff is intrinsically violent and not intelligent, where the chess is inherently nerd-based, antisocial. If someone's into martial arts, then they absolutely must have some inner drive toward violence. The first person known to play chess in America is Benjamin Franklin. And in 1773, he wrote an essay called The Morals of Chess. That document had a lot to do with this organization and how we do what we do. What he talks about is how chess gives people foresight, circumspection, caution, and all of these things are survival skills, which we all need. Chess gives us, I believe, a moral compass without a forced religious dogma. I think it is important that we, all human beings, have a way to have a moral compass that we can use for ourselves, engage for ourselves, but not have a forced religious dogma. So chess has always been a huge part of American culture from the beginning. It has always been played by people of all religious dogmas, by all classes, by all races. Now, arguably the apex of chess came from when a kid named Bobby Fischer took the planet by storm. America's best era of chess. A few years after Bobby Fischer's victory, a new art form is about to emerge right under the ground that he walks on. And it's called hip-hop, and it's from the Bronx. The people that were in the streets playing chess became the first generation of huge rappers in the 80s. One of the things, when people talk about hip-hop, one of the main things that people miss in the discussion all the time is that hip-hop is one of the only American forms of music that its core function is to leave the listener smarter than when they entered the song. This is a huge thing about hip-hop that no other form of music has as a consistent element. Most of them are really self-help poems. Now, the deal is that what you're being helped to may not necessarily be good. Whether it's about survival on the streets, or black history, or pimping, or selling crack, it's up to the listener to what they want to learn about, but rap music's intent is to leave you smarter than you entered the song. So you can't really be dumb and understand hip-hop.
Castle queen c2, if black's takes on c4, then white could kill b4, in many occasions, so we would at least 90% of six, or They were using chess as a metaphor for their aggressive lyricism. They were the chess pieces. No one did this better than the Wu-Tang Clan. And so when the Wu-Tang Clan comes out, they changed everything. They changed everything. No other form of music has celebrated chess or the philosophies inside of it as much as hip-hop. Not jazz, not classical, not rock, not whatever you can find. Hip-hop has done that. 50 Cent, he just recently put out a book with Robert Greene. Here's a guy who is an avid chess player, and he went from selling crack to selling water for $100 million. So you got to be a pretty strategic thinker to do that. And chess played a huge role in 50 Cent's life. Does anybody know the author Robert Greene? He's one of the foremost strategic thinkers in America right now, I think in the world. And he wrote his book with 50 Cent, The 50th Law. His book on mastery, it just came out. It's about how do people actually master things. Anything. That's 50 Cent's book. But Jay-Z talks about chess in his book Decoded. We know Jay-Z sold clothes for $200 million. Where is the rock equivalent of 50 Cent? Telling his fans how he did what he did. Where's the jazz equivalent of Jay-Z? Writing Decoded, showing you this is what happened to me, this is what happened, and this. There is none. Where's the equivalent of RZA? Look, and they're all talking about chess, and that's an accident? I doubt it. The deliberate intelligence inside hip-hop is what makes it so dangerous. That's what makes it so feared and so revered. And it is where hip-hop beats, in my opinion, all other forms of music around the world. So here you have a generation of kids that were destroyed by crack, that didn't have parents, but they aspired to know. And they brought their chessboards with them. And now they're writing the books that the kids are going to read and go, hopefully, achieve what they want. This moves us over to the third part, and that is the martial arts. Because there was only one thing hitting harder than hip-hop back in the day, and that was martial arts. Game changer. All right? For America. We wouldn't think that this stuff has any connection. But this stuff almost happened at the same time to all of America. So the B-boys were into it, the DJs were into it. They would take the jazz records, they would take the rock pieces that DJs needed to DJ their sets with. They'd loop them on there for like 5 minutes, and then in between, they would put kung fu clips. So like someone would go, and the next guy would go, and he'd use a part from the Five Fingers of Death that talked about, a lack of style, or this person's stealing my technique, or your technique is not as strong as mine. The biggest stereotype about the martial artist is that they are, they're someone who seeks violence out. But the reality is, if you think about it, if you think of some of the most dangerous people on earth, they're Shaolin monks. Not just hand-to-hand fighting, but blade fighting. They've crafted all kinds of different weapons. But they're also known for being the most peaceful people on the planet. It is that training that brings about that peace. None of them ever get into random fights. Bullying is a big problem these days. The biggest cure that I've seen has come from the Gracie family. It's a thing called bully proof. And it really shows kids really not how to fight, but how not to fight. How not to get tackled, how not to get punched, etc., etc. But more of it deals with the psychology of the bully and what they call verbal jiu-jitsu. I'm not afraid. I go into anybody, I'm able to connect. I don't save everybody because the machine that's tearing these kids apart is much bigger than me. There was a guy in the video with braids and he had a peace sign up. I helped him bury his son 3 months ago. It was not easy. But that's the reality. But it is being done. I got a lot of kids through school. I got a lot of kids focused on college and into JCs, into jobs, out of gangs. It's not necessarily just about gang violence, it's about prevention, because if these kids can learn how to think a few moves ahead and how to be independent thinkers, we don't have to worry about them becoming gang members in the future because they know how to think. A lot of the kids are often depressed and they can't figure out a basic fundamental plan for themselves. So this is what we set up for them. It's 3 positive actions are greater than 1 negative thought. If you're worried about an algebra exam, okay, well the first thing we ask is, what 3 actions have you taken against that thought? The other thing that we teach the kids is the PPC code. Without a plan, you've got nothing. So first you figure out, what are you trying to achieve and what are the realistic means that you're trying to attain it through? Then we have your patience. But a lot of times, especially young people, they think that patience is just sitting around and waiting. The patience is the work you do to create the opportunity. It's the daily work. It's, reading that book you can't stand on algebra. And the courage is so key because a lot of times we're afraid of our own success. You've got to be willing to step through when your opportunity arrives. When you saw the shot, you take the shot. When you see the throw, you take the throw. When you get the opportunity for the internship, you jump in. You get the opportunity for a job, you jump in. So you've got to have planning, patience, and courage. That's the PPC code.
If people have this type of intellect to sit down and play a game of this magnitude, why are you guys like that?
But see, that's kind of the trap, right? Like, first I'll teach them the game, and then I'll be like, okay, well, you're not stupid, right? Because you can't be stupid in no chess. So what are you going to do now?
All of it is what I do except for the chess part, because I always thought chess is like this old aristocratic type of expression for...
Right.
This is Britain's game. Meanwhile, my game is like basketball and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I was brought
But
up
see,
listening to.
really, that game comes from India.
Does it?
The Arabs, when they invaded India, took it with them, and then they went up into Africa, and then as Islam spread, chess spread. And then when the Moors come across, take Spain, they bring the game with them. The Africans and Arabs brought it into Europe, and then the Europeans started playing it. What happens is, as the women of Europe become more empowered, the queen piece becomes more empowered.